Hi class, and welcome to week 5 of Women Mentoring Women. And I want to say happy President's Day to everyone out there. Hope some of you are at least getting to enjoy this holiday. And happy Mardi Gras to anybody who is in New Orleans, like us, have my Fleur-de-Lis hat ready to celebrate here in the city, or anybody that's near the city or just celebrates in your own way. Happy Mardi Gras, and welcome to the season of Lent, and where from here we look to the progression of the greatest day in history when Jesus rose from the dead on Easter. So looking forward to the season that's ahead. So welcome to this week's class, and we're going to be discussing, as you'll find in the PowerPoint presentation online, as well as in some other articles that I've posted, the discussion this week being on how can we start a mentoring ministry. Now, in your reading in the Janet Thompson text of the Woman to Woman Mentoring, you're going to find there a lot more structure to having a mentoring ministry actually in the church is what we're discussing there, and what would be some more formal ways, some practical ways that you could do that, not trying to overstructure or over humanize that type of process. But she offers some really great suggestions, boundaries, some things that have worked for her and her ministry and others as she gives testimonials there. And so you'll find that throughout the PowerPoint, as well as some other readings that I've tied in there and given you the titles for that I hope that you'll check out on your own as well. And then I've given you 2 articles that I found online this week that also deal with mentoring, one through Lifeway by Deb Douglas, and another through the Flourish Ministry of North American Mission Board, which is headed up by Kathy Litton. I'm sure many of you have encountered both of these women throughout your journeys, and if not, you can check them out online and find a lot of great resources from them. But these 2 articles, one by Deb Douglas, offers a little bit of a contrast to the book stuff that you're going to read, because she talks more about informal mentoring. And in that way, it's not so much we're talking about the structure within the church of a type of actual timed seasonal ministry that we have, but how can we take what's available to us with the sometimes limited time we have and do some just informal ministry, informal mentoring, that we all can find ways to do this even with whatever schedule we have. And so Deb talks on that some in that article that I have for you to read there. And then also the last one through NAM, Flourish, is for when you wish you had a mentor. And I think everybody at some point deals with that, and I talk with girls a lot about that just in my own journey. Why, gosh, I wish I had a mentor. How do I find one? How can I be one to people? And so that article touches on that as well. So I just encourage you this week, along with the PowerPoints, to check out those 2 articles that were also posted, glean from those as well, and even print those, maybe put them in a sort of swipe file or a folder for yourself for a later time when you may use them, not just for yourself, but others when you teach them this subject. So how can we start a mentoring ministry? And with this, we're moving more towards your final project. For the only last 4 weeks we have here left of the class, we'll be moving more towards when you are going to develop a particular program to have towards mentoring. And you're going to implement that. And even when I use the word program, I want to be cautious with that, because very often mentoring, it can't be forced. It can't be something that we're trying to put a round peg in a square hole. It's very much so led by the Spirit of God as natural relationships develop. But even when we talk about a more formal circumstance, and that we want to have something with a little more structure and boundaries that we're working on, it still involves a lot of prayer and just asking God who would go well with who and how should this be developed. And so I don't want this to come off as if we're trying to say there's one way to do this and it has to be structured and have all these different kinds of rules and boundaries, because that's just not it. The suggestions that are given in one are some standard boundaries from Scripture, as well as from women who have implemented these type of ministries in their churches, that we hope in giving to you could also give you an idea of how to do that as well in more of a structured ministry, but also just to give you more of a perspective on how mentoring should happen just one-on-one naturally in the relationships that you have just around you in life. And a mentor is different from a teacher in that, like when we're young in those first stages of life, in that discovery type phase, when we're discovering things about ourselves, about the world, about what we're going to believe, we trust easy, we trust deeply about people that are in our lives without our choosing, such as teachers at school, parents that were given, people, those authority type figures like that. But as we get older, we move more into a negotiation type of phase where then we have these things that we've acquired, that we have discovered, that we've sifted through, we've sort of decided for ourselves. But now with the negotiation phase, as we get older, we say, okay, how do I work through these ideas? What does that mean? How do I sort through them, weigh through them in my mind and apply them to my life? And I think in many ways that's where a mentor steps in. They are different from a teacher because a teacher imparts that knowledge, and not that a mentor doesn't do that, but a mentor comes to you and to me and to be one with a knowledge that a person already has, and then we help them from there. We work with the knowledge that they already exist with, and we help them sift through it and weigh it and the importance of their lives, and to walk this journey with them, and help further supply more tools for them as they learn to just continue to negotiate things out in their life and become the people that they're going to be. And part of that, as I have in the lecture, involves walking alongside of them, journeying alongside of people just very naturally in the ways that we would do so just even with people like in our own family and our friends. And so journeying with them, imparting things that have been given to us from other mentors that we have, and just really cultivating an atmosphere of encouragement. That doesn't mean always that as a mentor we don't offer criticism or sometimes give words that might be hard to hear at first, but even in that, it's encouragement to people's lives. It's taking things that they already have and helping them further grow with that knowledge. An example of this